going on, everybody? It is your favorite everything, jrwisdom, and today we have two special guests, and we're going to be discussing this topic that many of you guys can relate to, and we're just going to jump right into it. I don't want to hold you guys any further. Without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce yourselves, guys.
I am Angel Wiggs. I am the CEO and founder of Energy Alliance. And
I'm Kevin Dolby. I'm also one of the mediators and co-founders of Energy Alliance and the head of the Math for Mediation department.
Awesome. So tell me, what exactly is Energy Alliance?
You want me to go?
Go ahead, knock it out.
All right. So Energy Alliance, we are a mediation company. We provide virtual solutions nationally, and we are both nationally certified mediators, and we are also paralegals as well. Energy Alliance, we take a different approach than the traditional adversarial approach, such as going to court, hiring an attorney, and meeting your disputes in the courthouse. We take a different approach to where what we're doing is we're bringing the parties together in a natural setting so we can work through the dispute.
Okay. And when we talk about disputes, so you guys specifically do a focus on family mediation and family court. Is that correct?
Yes, we actually have 5 sectors. Today we're going to talk about family mediation, but we do have 5 sectors. Our sectors are corporate entities. We have, like we just said, the family mediation sector, and we also have civil and real estate. Kevin and I both have a background of 20 plus years experience in the real estate industry right here in the Metro Atlanta area. And we also have consumer disputes. When you buy something and you might have not got your item, or it didn't show up, or it's not what you expected, you would contact our office to assist you with that dispute instead of going to social media and blasting the business. We want to keep it professional and help build everyone's brand.
Now, I know on my channel, we have a lot of men who go through family court or dread family court, and it's a terrible experience. I know I've been through it personally with my own situation of having to go through mediation through an actual attorney doing it and have a guardian ad litem. Mm-hmm. So how do you guys differ, or do you guys work with attorneys and guardian ad litems in the aspects of family mediation, whether it be custody and divorce? How does that interface?
We do divorce, actually. We do divorce right here in Atlanta. But we, to be honest with you, JR, we try to get you before you get to that point. Right. Before you're ready to hire an attorney, before you're ready to file your case with the court, we would like to get all parties to the table before that even happens. But however, sometimes they don't find energy in time. So in that case, what we do is we bring all parties to the table. Kevin and I both speak the language attorney. We literally speak attorney. We both, like I said, been paralegals for over 20 plus years. So we welcome them to the table. We welcome the attorneys, we welcome the guardian ad litems to the table, because those parties help us get to resolution faster, being that we have all experts at the table and possible decision makers.
Now, coming from someone who's been through the situation, I know a lot of the men are going to be watching this. What is the budget or the price scale in terms of going or contacting you guys as opposed to just contacting an attorney?
Let you take that one, Kevin.
Yeah, so attorneys, they start at about $5,000 for each party. People who've been through divorces know that you can spend anywhere easily from $10,000 to $20,000, and depending on the outcome, you could end up having even more money that you owe. Because we are not attorneys, we don't have to charge those exorbitant fees. Right. And because we're working with both of you guys, we split the fees so that it makes it a lot more amicable for both of you financially. And you're going to save thousands of dollars going with mediation. I think we have packages starting at around $2,000 uncontested, which even lawyers are starting at $5,000 uncontested. And most likely there's going to be some type of issues that's going to have to be resolved. and their billing hours are going to be way more higher. So it's just a great process to save some money, and your power is still with you because we're going to allow you to dictate what you guys want to do. And always, if we cannot resolve it, you still can then go to an attorney if you like, but it's just going to save you so much money. And again, you keep your own power and you get to make your own decision.
That's right.
Now, I know you mentioned it earlier, Angel. I think you touched on it. Are you guys specifically focused in Atlanta, or is this nationwide?
We're nationwide for our mediations. However, because Kevin, like I said, we've both been paralegals for some time here in the metro Atlanta area. As it relates to divorce, our focus is only in Atlanta.
Gotcha. So what are the common issues that y'all see here? And I'm pretty sure it's the same throughout all states. What are the common issues that typically people retain you for in terms of, we just can't get this together, we're just trying to get settled? What is that typically the most that you see in reference to?
The most common issue that I have saw is the man. You want me to give you the man's perspective or the female's perspective, or both?
Give both of them.
Okay, so let me start with the one of the gentlemen's. Is the lack of respect for men now. There's so much attention. We have so many ways to get attention through social media. So the lack of respect, that's what a lot of the men have brought to our attention, one of the disputes, and they don't know how to really put it in words, because women, we're the great communicators. You're hurting my feelings. We could say it in so many different ways to really gut punch a man. So that being said, one of his issues was the lack of respect for him in regard to social media. And from the woman's side, I want to be free. I am not just his wife. I am whoever I am, or this is my brand. So many comments as it relates to that. But that has been the most common thing, the social media, OnlyFans pages, and things like that.
Okay, so can you educate, real quick, both of you, can you educate the people who may not know? For someone to file for divorce in the state of Georgia, what is there typically like a timeline you have to wait, or is there a specific reason to file for divorce if you want?
As long as you've been separated for 6 months, you don't have to have specific reasons. The reasons may vary. Irreconcilable differences is the one that you would typically hear. I'm not trying to give anybody any reasons to put down on their paper to get a divorce. So I'm being very transparent as well, but your reasons may vary. And then your reasons when you come to mediation are not the same reasons that's going to go on the divorce decree for your filing. It will be more technical and related to the judicial system. So the reason could be, like I said, irreconcilable differences is a big one. Abandonment. We have situations where men just get up and leave the family household. We've had situations where they've sold the house and left the family because they can't take it anymore and just running away from the situation. So there's tons of reasons, but help me out. You have another scenario for me, JR Wisdom?
You were about to say something?
Yeah, also a lot of times when children are involved, we also get involved as well, and we try to create a level of communication between the parents. We've had situations where
Yes.
the father may not be speaking to their child, and so we'll come in, we'll
definitely.
mediate that. We'll try to set up sessions so that they can communicate better, because a lot of times the kid is the one that gets hurt in all of this. They feel like it's their fault. With family mediation, we really focus on the whole family, not just the husband and wife.
Can you guys educate the viewers? Because this is a big thing for men as well. I'm from South Carolina. In South Carolina, the mother is the de facto parent. I don't want to use the wrong jargon, if you will, or custodial parent. But the only time a man really has rights is if he's married. And I know that's in a lot of states in terms of with the child. What is it in the state of Georgia? How does family court see it in terms of parenting? And is there a default or a de facto parent? Or is the one parent automatically awarded sole custody or primary custody? here in the state of Georgia?
Do you want to take that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, in most cases, the mother is always going to have first right. Nobody's really going to take the child from a mother unless the situation calls for it. They're going to look at everything, right? They're going to look at the finances, the stability of the home, if the child is old enough, obviously they're going to even ask the child who they want to be with. So it's a lot of different factors that are involved. Obviously, if you're married, it does give you more rights as opposed to if she's just your baby mama, so to speak. But yeah, the mother is typically going to have more rights in general.
So would a man have to initiate some sort of litigation to see his child in the state of Georgia?
It depends. They can work it out. And this is why mediation is so important, because you can
Yes.
come to that conclusion without getting the judge involved, without getting attorneys involved. You're adults. You should be able to sit down and determine what's best for the child, because that's ultimately what it's about. Nobody should be using the child as a weapon. But if you're in a situation where the mother or the father or one of the parents are using the child as a weapon, in that case, mediation would be a great way to resolve that. If you can't, obviously you could always go with attorneys, but hopefully that's something that can be resolved without having to be forced by the judge or with the attorneys involved.
I hear you, Kevin. That's in
Yeah.
the perfect world, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we know. I always encourage my viewers, and I know you guys have been to the courthouse a lot. For those who say that, and I'm not giving statistics on anything, but I just encourage people just to go to family court and just sit out in the hallways.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're allowed inside the courtroom, just to sit in and listen to some of these cases. Obviously, we ultimately, and I think what you guys are doing are great as far as coming up with mediation, or having some sort of mediation, which I'm assuming with this mediation that y'all do, the documentation that comes about, is it legally binding?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
Does a judge have to sign off on it?
No.
Okay, gotcha. So it's legally binding. I know
It is
people
legally
ask that, they're
binding.
like,
Yes,
okay.
it is legally binding, and we do have options for it not to be legally binding. For example, like your outcome could be different. You may just want the family to just have a notice of what we would call a memorandum of understanding. And then you just write everything out in your own words, or we would write it out in your own words, and just have an understanding of the agreement. Now, when it comes to a separation agreement, like for example, in South Carolina, you have to be separated for a year. So that's a whole year. Obviously, life has to go on. So that's why it's important for you to create a separation agreement, and you can go ahead and get that done at Energy actually for $500. Your separation agreement. We actually do that, as well as the prenups, which
And
is
post-nups.
and post-nups.
I've been hearing this a lot lately. What exactly? Because I just heard about this probably within the past 8 months. I would
Really?
say.
Okay.
Yeah. What is a postnuptial? What is that?
A postnuptial is an agreement after you have already married, or you're already married.
Okay.
So that's a postnuptial agreement, and it's an agreement of how it could be. It depends on the parties, to be honest. They wanted to talk. I had one that wanted to talk about have an exit strategy. Right. They're so happy. They're a great couple, but if you go crazy or I turn crazy in 10 years, what's the plan for us and our family and our children? How do we move forward? And then they just write it all out while they're happy and in a good place, because everybody knows when your emotions are involved, you might go run to social media and start bullying people or telling it like it is, so to speak, or your perspective of how it is. And we don't want that. So we encourage all of you clients out there, potential clients, to come and have a consultation. Our consultations are free. They're 30 minutes. We decide if we're going to be the best fit for you. And to be honest, if you have had a consultation with us and I did not proceed with you with your case, your mediation case, and told you to go to an attorney, it's a reason for that. Like I said, Kevin and I have been paralegals for over 25 years. If we think that you need an attorney, both people, we are going to tell you up front that's what you need. And you don't need our services right now. But keep in mind, you're going to have to mediate regardless, because the judges and the courts, especially here in the Metro Atlanta area, are requiring mediation prior to deliberating.
Yep.
because the judge's responses to that, and when I ask questions to the judges, they don't want to make a decision on your life based on a 45-minute, not even an hour review, because the courts are swamped. We have, I think it's like how many people a day move into Atlanta?
Yes, thousands.
Right. The courts are swamped. So, energy, our mission is to resolve disputes, train to empower, and promote healing.
And I also want to add in about the prenup and the postnup. That doesn't mean you don't get anything. Some people think if it's a prenup, that means I don't get anything if it doesn't work out. That is not what it means. It means that we sit down and come up with something that works for everybody, right? That's fair for everybody involved before people are upset and emotions are involved and people are trying to use certain tactics and weaponize the situation. So that's all it means. It doesn't mean that if you guys divorce, you walk away with absolutely nothing. So just wanted to clear that up.
Valid
Can you
point.
clear this up before we get it? Because I wanted to address something you said, Angela, in terms of the behavior in court and the cyberbullying part. Now, a lot of guys, when we're seeing this in the media, because I don't know anybody personally, a lot of guys, i.e. Tyrese, I think it was another guy it'll come to my mind. Dr. Dre, I believe, going through a divorce and the prenup being challenged. So are prenups really bulletproof if you're able to, because I think Tyrese still isn't divorced. And he's had a prenup. You know what I'm saying? It's been 4 or 5 years now? Maybe longer than that. He's been going through litigation in this whole divorce process. What are these loopholes that come about when these prenups get challenged and stuff like that? What is this about, if you can
Money.
comment on that?
Money. It's about money. It's about the judicial system and money. That's exactly what it's about. So, for example, you can challenge anything. You can file a frivolous lawsuit. I could file a lawsuit today that said the light was too bright, it hurt my eye, and now I walk out and all I see is the bright light in jrwisdom studio and it hurts my head. And now I'm going to file a lawsuit. I could do that. It's frivolous. But I can still file it because the court is still going to take my money. As long as I'm a human being walking in court with proper clothes on and shoes, I can file.
That's a fact. And look at Cardi B right now, what she's going through, being sued for $24 million because a girl claimed she scratched her face and had to get reconstructive surgery, yet there's no evidence from the witnesses and everybody involved that she ever touched her. Anybody can file a lawsuit, but ultimately, if the prenup is done right, it's going to stand its ground. If somebody is signing a prenup under duress, then it can definitely be null and void. If it's at the last minute and you're pretty much saying, hey, we're not going to walk down the aisle unless you sign this, and she's crying and upset and she signs it, that's no good. And there was a famous basketball player that went through that, and he talked about his story. He actually left her. Yes, sir. Yes, Steven Jackson. So, yeah, there are situations in which the prenup is null and void. But for the most part, if everything is done, the attorneys are involved or a proper mediation company is involved and things are documented and looked at, you're not going to really have a lot of issues with it.
That's good to hear, because I know that's like, even men are, man, I don't want to get married because even prenup's not even holding up. You know,
Yeah, I've heard
so
that.
I just wanted y'all to
Sure.
clarify that, especially those cases I said,
Right.
Dr. Dre, Tyrese, and
Right.
other folks like that. Moving on, I know you said something earlier, I can't quote it specifically, Angel, but you were saying something along the lines of, when we're in the throes of things, we're in the throes of love, the head is in the clouds, we're all in love, and things completely change. This person, I don't even know this person anymore when I'm going through a divorce. I think there's a saying some of the worst people are on their best behavior in the courtroom.
That's true.
Yes.
During family court, some of the best people are on their worst behavior in the court. How do y'all handle difficult, irate, angry, upset, emotional clients?
That is a great question, and I'm glad that you asked it because Kevin and I work well with a male and female dynamic to help balance that. And I think that goes back to the foundation of the family, being the father and the mother being the nurturer and things of that nature, and our practices, our own personal family dynamics and how we look at things.
And I
So,
want to
yeah.
add on, I think one of the methods that is good about what we do is we doing it online. So basically, if we're on a Zoom meeting, I can pause you, mute your button, speak to you. We can take you in a separate room. It's hard for you to argue when I've muted your line, or I have you in a separate room, and then I can talk to you separately. I can come in, speak on your behalf. You're not sitting across from the person. Now, we do have a physical office here in Atlanta. If everyone wants to meet in person, it's actually 5 minutes from where we are now. It's at Terminus, 100 Terminus. It's at the Terminus building. Yeah, we can walk right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We right there on the 7th floor if we need to meet in person. But a lot of the mediations that we do are typically online on Zoom, so that cuts out a lot of the nonsense.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, that's good to know. For those of you who don't know, that's on the corner of Peachtree and Piedmont, what he's describing right there. Definitely excellent location if you guys are interested in doing that. Yeah, because I know that can be like and I know with mediation, usually I thought the parties are always separate and it's like a back and forth thing, but I can understand how that can go very crazy and you having to separate folks. So you mentioned social media earlier, people posting. How does that work in terms of you have a client or clients dealing with cyberbullying or insults or making disparaging remarks?
So that typically is a situation in our experience where it's been a business, maybe an employee dispute that has now taken its wings to social media for all to see. And the first thing we bring to the table is patience, to be honest, because we're not in the dispute with them. We're not feeling what they feel. So that's the first thing. And then getting them to a place and to an understanding where they can really focus on what the real issue is, what the real root of the dispute is. And that's where Kevin and I shine at, and really working with them to get to resolution. But if we can't, then getting them to a level of understanding. So yes, I understand that we did not resolve this, but at least I understand why.
Yeah, social media can be an issue. We actually had a client who had a camera hidden in her bedroom and caught her husband having sex with somebody and posted it all over social media. So we had to try to get involved in this situation to see if we could get her to take it down. And I understand that she had a right to be upset. You're violating our home and different things like that. But we still have to go about things a certain way because they did have children and they could end up sitting. So it was a whole thing. So the social media dynamic is, we haven't always had social media. So
Correct.
It's a new thing now. Navigating that is definitely its own thing. But we have to be mindful what we put out, especially about other people, because there are certain laws as well about posting pictures of people naked and different things like that, inappropriate stuff. So we have to just keep that in mind.
That's right.
I'm gonna switch it up a little bit here. So between both of y'all have 40 years of legal experience. What?
20.
Yeah.
Oh, 20 together. Oh, I thought each one of y'all had 20.
Yes.
I have 20.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said
I thought you
4.
said 4.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I thought you said 4.
Yes.
Okay, 40.
Yeah,
4.
together combined, y'all got 40
Okay,
years.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah,
40
you're
plus,
correct.
yes.
So from that, what inspired you guys to, for one, start Energy and become mediators from that perspective of the paralegal background or legal background? Being in court, looking at paperwork and realizing that this is designed to feed a beast, and that's the judicial beast, feeding it with paperwork. Every time you file something, there's a fee, a filing fee. You got to serve this person. Then that employs the process servers to serve this person. And looking at the whole process and saying, wait a minute, they could have resolved this without paying this $7,000. It was just, they didn't understand. It was the communication, that it broke down somewhere, and they really just did not understand the other person. And in turn, when you don't understand someone, that creates conflict and disputes.
And then if you feel disrespected, then it's taken to another level of now I'm mad and now you're going to feel my wrath, so to speak. Being me, seeing that for all of those years, and as a single mom, not being able to like say anything because I'm not attorney, but being able to offer suggestions like, hey, I just called this person and got them to agree to an arrangement. Why'd you do that? We could have sued them and got 2-3K. So when you start understanding the mentality, it makes you want to jump into action and create something and do something about it, especially when we're dealing with enough stuff than to have to be dealing with court on top of that. And court is not a comfortable place, especially for people that look like me. So it's not a comfortable place at all. So if you can avoid it and proceed with mediation, even if we can't assist you, contact a mediation company. If for some reason we're busy and we can't help you, or it didn't work out, or if it's not a sector that we work in, it's important. And not just wait until you have to mediate in a court setting. Because with energy, we're culturally fluent. We have math for mediation. We have creative approaches. And with our expertise, it just brings it all together. Yeah, that's why I did it.
Ultimately, we saw a need for it.
Definitely.
And in the African American community, we have the highest divorce rate than any other group of people. And it tends to be a financial strain on our communities more so than others. It seems like we're overcharged by attorneys and everything else, and we tend to have more financial issues than other groups of people as well. So when you combine all of those factors in, it's a need. And that's why I really got into it.
And then also for me, finding out that even after the judge makes a decision, you're still in pain.
Yes.
And seeing people still in pain. Like even going through all of that, the money and the time and all that has been spent. And then after the judge has adjudicated the case and made a decision, you're still leaving in pain. And not just you, both of you. Because the woman might be smiling, but we smile a lot and hurt on the inside.
And the children are in pain.
And the children are in pain. And they might not have even spoke. Because the court process takes so long, they might not have even spoke to their parent, who they lived in the house with every day. So definitely saw a need.
So in this, how do y'all stay neutral when one side feels more right than the other as human beings?
We debate, him and I, on the back end.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we're professionals, so we understand that we have to do that. But we will come in and we'll talk amongst each other and come to some conclusion, and we help balance each other out because we have the male-female dynamic, and typically we're going to be working with the male and a female in relationship.
So can you walk us through what typically happens if, or someone watches this video and they're like, okay, I think I want to pursue this route instead of going to an attorney because I don't have $5,000, $10,000 to retain an attorney. What happens in a typical family mediation session from the point that we reach out to you, do the consultation? What happens next?
After the consultation, then we'll have a consultation with the other disputant to work with them.
Let me ask you this, because this happened to me. Sorry to cut you off.
That's okay.
What happens if they don't want to talk to you?
Oh, that's not a problem. Then Kevin will call. If it's a female or a male, we'll both take turns. And then sometimes it's just writing a letter. And that's our job, to convene, to bring people together. That's the first part of our process, is the convening process, which is actually my favorite part. Because typically if they don't like you in the beginning, at the end when they're raving about us, it's, you wasn't taking my calls for about a week, and now you're all happy and everything a couple of weeks later. But it's the convening process, getting them to understand what's happening. And sometimes that's writing a letter, sending an email, calling them, because they'll likely want to call and talk to their significant other. And when their significant other says, I hired a mediation company for us to work through, then it could be, some people are shocked. Like, why would they do that? Why? We don't need that. Or some people are happy. Because some people look at it like therapy too, I think. And it's not. We're result driven. We're not talking about those feelings and things of that nature. We're straight dispute. 1 dispute, 2 dispute, 3 dispute, however many disputes, writing them down, and we're focusing and we're honing in on why that's a dispute. So when someone wants to hear why you're mad, you're pretty much going to answer my call so I can get your side of the story, because I already have the other side eventually.
Yep. And ultimately, at some point, once that paperwork is filed with the courts, you're going to talk to somebody. So you're going
That's
to be
true.
forced at some point. If you just refuse to speak with us, once the court documents are filed, then you're going to be summoned to go to court. You can't keep ignoring all of that. So at some point, you're going to have to speak to somebody.
And a mediator.
The reason why I asked y'all that, because my life's like a movie. I'm pretty sure some other guys. I always have the worst case scenario in situations, which I think builds character. Me personally, with me, and I'm just bringing this because this might happen, and I think it is possible. That's why I asked you that question. If someone's just, no, I'm just not gonna talk to anybody. So in the case of, like, when I was filing for divorce, my ex-wife would not talk to my attorney. She didn't have it because she refused to talk to my attorney.
Yep.
No, and this went on for a year.
Wow.
A year. So every action she had to be ruled into court. For every single action, she had to be ruled in to talk to the judge, because she wouldn't talk to my attorney. So I'm just asking that in the case, and it's not, I understand y'all do what y'all do, and hopefully most people are willing to communicate. But she was just like, no, you're just going to have to rule me in, and whatever answers, I'll respond to the judge, and it just wouldn't happen. So that's why I was asking you that in terms of that, because I know the judge can make you talk, but, just asking that because it's the worst case.
That's a good question. That's a good question, but that doesn't really help you. I don't know what your situation was, but I don't see that as helping her by refusing to speak to the attorney or mediator and communicate. I don't think that's going to be beneficial in their favor at the end.
Of course not.
Exactly.
Of course not. But some people feel like they can ignore it, in that I've seen cases like that. And in that case, that person was trying to save money to get their own attorney. So people are scared of attorneys a lot of the times. So they were so that's why they were avoiding that attorney's call, because they didn't understand. They didn't understand that now you got to pay this, and then you possibly have to pay half the attorney's fees because you didn't show up to court. Now you have a warrant. You're getting pulled over. You got a warrant. So we're helping you avoid all of that. And sometimes, to be honest, people come back during that process so they can go, because they know that they have to mediate, and they're like, you worked well with us. Can you just help us now? And then we do. And we proceed with the mediation session at a different rate, obviously, because now we have different layers that we have to unfold. But yeah.
And I know I cut you off, but to go back to what you were saying, so you say you reach out to the other party.
Convening, yes. Okay. So then it just depends. Most of the time, once they understand what's happening, then it's just a matter of setting a date. And then the back end paperwork, or them telling us their disputes and their side of the story, and us documenting that appropriately. So Kevin can read it or hear it at the same time, and we can talk to them, talk to the other side, that is, because we don't know if we can actually proceed with mediation until we talk to the other side, because we don't know all of the info. We don't have all of the facts. So, for example, if there's a situation where it's a domestic dispute and he has shot at you, or she has shot at you, just something criminal, like, we don't handle that. That's something that has to go through a criminal court system.
Got you. So, what if which a lot of men are dealing with this, I'm having issue, my child's mother, I don't want to say baby mom, my child's mother's like, I need some more money from you. I need more child support. You need to help out with this. And I'm like, yo, this is all I got. I'm gonna contact the state of Georgia to put you on child support. How can y'all assist? Is it the same process?
Yes, it's the same process, because there has to be an event. An event. What has occurred to make you want more money? Okay? What is the event? The event could be, I see you got more money. I mean, that's something that people feel. We just don't know. I'm just giving you an example, but it just depends.
Yeah, because the judge, if you go back to court to get an adjustment on your child support is basically what you're asking. The judge is going to look to see if there's a change in your income that you can even afford it. If there's no change in the income, you can ask for whatever you want. You're not going to be able to get it. And if you do have a change in income and you just don't want to give her any more money, then, again, mediation would be a great place, because that way you can sit down and come up with something that may work for both of you, as opposed to the judge dictating and telling you what it is.
The guys who are watching, does Georgia state law, let's just say you already have something in place, does Georgia state law, because I think in South Carolina, to get a modification, it has to be 3 years.
Okay.
3.
You can't just, or I understand, I think it might be a change or something, but I think typically, and I may be wrong, I think it's 3 years before you can request a modification or something like that.
I'm not for sure. Those laws are always constantly changing. And again, we're not attorneys, so I don't know exactly the answer to that. However, as it relates to the mediation process, we want to find out the why. The why you want, it's not just because, or just because someone's made more money. It could be something else. It could be, I need you to pick them up and take them to football practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays, because now I have to pay somebody to do that. And you're out of town, so now I need more money, but I don't want to tell you that because I don't want you to know whatever, the reasons why. You get what I'm saying? So there's alternate ways to fix it and work together where it might not be monetary. That's just something people say to get to the table or to get to court.
And a lot of those laws, the technical stuff, we have the ability to look those laws up at that time if that's a specific scenario. So we do interact and use legal documents, legal research. We do have other people that work with us, paralegals as well, that can check on the certain laws specific to your situation.
And we do work with attorneys as well.
Yes.
We work with them. Like I say, we speak that.
Yeah.
So we do reach out, consult with attorneys, or get you in touch with one if you need something specifically done that an attorney would typically do. Then definitely, especially in Metro Atlanta.
Yeah.
What if someone listening right now feels like their family situation is hopeless? They've been run through the ringer or whatever. They've been getting nothing but the runaround. They may have gotten shafted, for lack of a better term, in family court. What would you just say to someone whose situation where they say, I just feel hopeless and can't do anything? Yeah, somebody coming to you like that.
First and foremost, we have a faith-based department that covers and surrounds you with your faith and ground you in that, to remind you that there's nothing too powerful for the Most High. So that's number one, and getting you to change the mindset. Because if you feel like it is hopeless, then whatever you feel, you have the power. You have the power. Mediation is all about keeping your power. We're not going to take it from you just because we're the mediators and you came to the table. We're going to empower you through training and helping you understand your facts of where you are. Because just because it seemed hopeless to you, it really may not be, because you don't know all the facts and you don't know the facts from the other side. So that's just what it is, a feeling. And feelings come and go.
Do you think most conflicts come down to communication, or is it something deeper there?
Yes, I would say 99% is communication. That's the key. And this is why mediation is so important, because when you have somebody that can sit there and hear you out and help you articulate what you're saying to your significant other, it can ease a lot of the stress of trying to communicate with somebody that you may be in conflict with, you may be upset with. We're neutral, so we don't have those feelings. We're gonna just tell it, hey, this is what he said, this is what he's dealing with. And then we can take what you say and bring it back to them and say, this is how she's feeling. And it makes a big deal. I've seen it. I've seen two people that we've dealt with unable to talk to each other. And literally, I'll come and ask them. I'll go tell them. And it's, oh, okay. And he said the same thing, but his tone, his attitude, she was already angry. So even though he's saying the same things that I'm saying, the way he's communicating, it was upsetting. And so we were able to come in and get that resolved.
Doing this work, how has this changed the way y'all view relationships and the family dynamic? Because I know legally, and I'm gonna say that y'all see it's almost like a cop, a beat cop showing up. They see all
Right.
types of stuff responding to calls. And from the legal side, y'all see all types of things. Y'all know everybody's business, financials, everything that's brought, because people will air out everything. How has that, because you're still human beings, and that's what I was
Sure.
saying earlier. How has this changed the way you see the relationships and family dynamics, or your views on it?
For me, it has changed the way, like, for me, I like to debate. I loved it. I enjoy it. Even if I know the apple is red, it could be yellow-ish red. It's not always red, but in realizing that some men don't like that. They don't want to go back and forth. It's red, let's move on. And looking at it from that perspective. So for me, it has brought a level of peace for me and tranquility because, when you have helped someone and they're like really healed from what you did, it's life changing. And it makes you think about preserving the happier times and being less combative or stop maybe so much with the debating aspect. So
Yeah.
that's how it has helped for me.
For me, it made me realize that everybody has issues, right? Nobody has a perfect marriage.
That's true.
And this is what a lot of us, we see people and we think, oh, they got it all. Everybody has their issues. And I think knowing that, sometimes it makes you feel like, oh man, I don't even have it that bad. Because we all got issues, right? I have
Right.
issues. So but when you hear other people's issues, and then you see that everybody, and then a lot of people are dealing with the same issue. Sometimes it goes, okay, I'm not crazy. I'm dealing with that too. It just start to see almost like this pattern of, okay, certain issues that you see a lot of people dealing with. You realize everybody has issues. And then I think it just makes, I've learned to be able to not take things as serious and just understand we're all going to have these issues. We're all going to have issues, and we just got to work through it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, what's the difference between mediation and litigation?
That's a good question. I
Great
love
question,
it.
yep.
Mediation is voluntary, and it could be involuntary too, because now the courts make you mediate. So I shouldn't say that it's all voluntary. And litigation is the process, the judicial process of the attorneys going back and forth and filing. Some of it happens in court, of which on TV, like Law and Order, but most of it happens behind the scenes with paperwork and answers and responding to discovery and things of that nature.
Yeah, and I would say the biggest difference is with litigation, like the attorneys, not only the cost, but the attorneys, everybody's coming together and they're gonna make you make a decision. Whereas with mediation, you have the power to sit down and come up with your own kind of resolution that works for both of you, as opposed to a judge ruling and saying, this is the case. And even if you don't think it's fair, you got to go by it. But with us, you get to actually sit down and keep working things out until no one is going to make you do anything.
That's
Once
right.
it gets to litigation, you will be made to do whatever the judge determines, or the jury if you have a trial.
That's correct.
So, in both of your experience, how often do families reach lasting agreements?
Good question.
For me, would they reach some sort of agreement?
Yes. How often?
You mean when they come to us?
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
statistically, the statistics show 85%.
Yeah.
That's what the statistics showed, I believe, last year, that 85% of the parties who actually commit to the mediation process resolve it. That's what if you're looking for a number, it's 85%. And that's a good odds. 85%, that's some good odds, because that you already came to one agreement. That's what I tell our clients. Boom, we are here. You have came to at least one agreement, which is to agree to mediate.
Right.
Now we just got to come up with an agreement with these other 3 disputes that you got, or however many that you had on the list.
Awesome. What advice would you give someone considering mediation for the first time?
Research the legal process and understand the alternative. because
Yes.
we know the alternative. So that's why we're here on the podcast explaining the importance of mediation. But a lot of people don't, they haven't been in the legal field. They probably never even stepped in the courtroom before a ticket. So researching the legal process.
Yes.
Because once you understand the legal process, most people want to keep their power and make their own decisions about their own life. So, yes, mediation.
So they're watching you guys right now on this podcast, and they're like, I think I want to do this. I like what they're saying. This sounds like it is definitely a better alternative, a more practical and affordable alternative. And I'm going to do my research. I'm ready to go. Other than the part about researching the legal system, because some people are just like, that's what I got you for.
Okay.
Instead, why do I need the research? I'm going to hire somebody, because that's typically why people do it, because they don't want to do the research for themselves. But I guess you explained it, that this is what we provide, this is what we're willing to do. Because a lot of people just want to get things over with, I think.
Right.
They don't want to go through, hey, just tell me what I need to do.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't want to go through or have to be doing other things or having to, but some people end up becoming, I don't want to say de facto litigants in terms of practicing law, or self-represented litigant or whatever. I ended up becoming
Pro
that
se,
at
yes.
one point, having to file paperwork, go down to the sheriff's office,
Right.
and all that stuff like that. Just trying to get in terms of saying that. Because the question was, what advice would you be giving someone? But you answered it. What advice would you give someone considering mediation for the first time?
But I understand what you're saying about researching.
Right.
Like, why am I going to research it when I'm paying you to do it?
Right.
I'm just saying, watch some videos.
Yeah.
Watch some videos from judges. Watch some YouTube. You're on YouTube anyway, so, it shouldn't be too hard. You're already likely looking at people that are dealing with or going through the same thing, looking for help. So you found us. We're here to help you. Free consultation. Contact us. Let us know. We'll tell you if we can't help you.
Exactly. And I would like to add, when like research, all I would say is just go look up attorney fees. That's your research. Go look up attorney fees and then call us and find out our fees. And then that'll be enough research for you to make an informed decision.
So for the people who are watching, if they could take one lesson from your work to be used on their own families, what would it be?
Listen. Because that's what we do. We're doing a lot of talking now, but we do a lot of active listening.
Yes. Listen, communicate. Sometimes it might be better to write down what you're feeling, and that way the tone is not there, even though you can write it in a tone as well that could come across a way. If you just sometimes write those thoughts down, put it down, maybe do bullet points, and then give it to your partner, then maybe that may be an effective way. If you're having a tough time speaking and you're arguing a lot, maybe just write it down, bullet points. This is my issue, this is my issue, this is my issue. And then maybe they can write down some responses, and then you guys can start like that. That might help. There's different techniques that you can use. If you have like a pastor or somebody in your family that you can trust, or a neutral third party that can maybe come in and talk to each other. And guys, we tend to talk to our boys, and they can give us a listening ear. Now, all of our boys might not give us the best advice, but we have somebody to vent to at times. But be careful who you vent to. It can come back to haunt you.
Yes.
But there are different things we can do.
And don't vent to Facebook.
Yeah.
It's
that's
not real
so-
a person.
Yeah.
It's Facebook.
Please stay off social media with your personal business. Yeah.
Great advice. So do you, and I'm asking this because I know it's not family court, but it is family issues. So do y'all also do will and probate type stuff?
Yes.
In terms of that, would that be considered like?
If you were if you were working out something to that aspect.
Like somebody died and they didn't have their
That-
either will together or.
And we bring the family together to decide, definitely. Yes.
'Cause I know some people maybe, I've come across people who have died or that I know of, and they say a family member died unexpectedly. The house, nobody knows
Yeah.
what's going on, and stuff can take I think probate sometimes could be like years.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
Come
It could
to a
be.
resolution. Yeah, I was just throwing that out there.
And we have our faith-based department, which consists of 2 reverends, and they've been reverends and ministers for over 35 years. So they're our elders. They're seniors, so they have dealt with traumatic losses and death and losing people. So we have enhancements to our mediation sessions, such as our faith-based department and our math for mediation department led by Kevin Dolby here.
Yeah.
So we have creative ways to enhance the process based on your circumstance.
Gotcha. So why should clients or viewers right now choose Energy over other mediation companies or mediation groups or attorneys?
Because we train to empower you. You're going to leave with something. We promote healing, and our goal is to resolve the disputes. And in addition, we take creative approaches such as math for mediation, different in our faith-based. The faith-based department, they are praying for the clients on the phone, having emergency sessions, really being that emotional support, though the reverends are. So we take it to another level with promoting healing.
Absolutely. And we're in the community. We're part of the community. We understand our people. When you come to us, you get it straight raw, and we're going to speak in a language that you can understand. We can work with anybody. Obviously, we target the African American community because we're a part of that community. And so we all have been through some of the same experiences, or we have family members, and we can speak to the things and we understand what you're going through because we have a lot of added pressures that other groups do not have. And we can speak to that, right? Because we're living it. So I think that's important as well.
Yes. And I talk about that with our background as well on our website at energy.com. And that's 3 I's instead of a Y, energy.com. And we focus, I lost my thought, what I was going to say. My bad.
No, you good.
It's all good. I did want to add in, though, the math for mediation is something that I do.
Yes.
And basically, it's a statistical analysis where we take your birthday and we look at the cycles that you go through. So everybody goes through these cycles. Time is cyclical. It's not linear. That's why people say what goes around comes around. And math is both. You can use math to add things up, like one phone, cell phone, but it also has meanings, right? You can say, I have to do a number 1 or number 2. And in that context, you know what that means. We use math or numbers to look at people's cycles. If you were pregnant and the doctor said you're going to have a baby in 9 months, you wouldn't call him a psychic. You would just say that he understands the process or the cycle that it takes for a fetus to become an embryo, to become a fetus, to be born. And it's a process. So we do look at that as well as an option to get a better understanding of why you might be going through this at this particular time in your life. Because believe it or not, we do have cycles we go through. Everything goes through cycles, and it repeats itself. Most people understand that you go Monday through Sunday, and then you start back at Monday. You go January to December, and you start right back at January. Yeah, the year changes, but the month, you're repeating these months. You're repeating these days of the week, and your life is measured in cycles. And this is something that I discovered about 12 years ago. I'm very passionate about, and I've been practicing it over 12 years. Came across it trying to literally disprove it. I thought it was nonsense. And then I started to notice my life and others around me that I noticed in these particular times, I would go through this. And every time this month would happen, I would deal with health issues and this. And it's just so accurate. It's almost unbelievable. But this is what we mean when we take a different approach. That's just one aspect. Again, we have the faith-based as well, ministers involved, for people who may be more inclined to that. I think that our approach is a little unorthodox, but I think it makes for, it gives a lot of power to the people that we deal with. It really empowers them.
Yes.
What'd you call it again? Because you said it a few times. Something. What math?
Math for mediation.
Math for mediation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because we're basically using math.
And we're the only ones that's doing that. That's another reason to come to Energy. And having our faith base with Rev Donna and Reverend Fane, which is also a male and female dynamic, the 2 reverends that are on our team.
Because that's an interesting how you brought that up. Is that, and I don't mean to be offensive by that, was some 5%?
No, it has nothing to do
So
with
this is like
5%.
sacred geometry or sacred
Yes,
math?
that's exactly what it
Okay.
is. It's literally
Because I know
sacred
About 5%,
geometry.
yeah.
I don't know too much in depth, but I know they do go into numbers in terms of
Yes.
Oh, that's what you mean.
and,
Okay.
The math.
Sacred math and divine math.
Yeah.
A person, I can say this, a person who has studied 5% being a teenager, it's more of a culture. It is a culture. It's, and numbers represent like days, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, but it's knowledge being the man, being the head. That's number one. Then you can't have one without the other. So then you have wisdom, which is a woman. Okay? And then you have understanding, which is the children. So we can't get an understanding until we got knowledge and wisdom, which is the communication that we have, just a little bit on that. So I respect the 5% culture. Peace to all the gods and earths.
Yeah, peace. But no, this has nothing to do with the 5% teachings.
Not at
this
all.
is, like you said, sacred geometry. Some have called it numerology. There's different names for it. But
It sounds like birth charts. The way you were talking sounds like getting into birth charts and spirituality. And not so much astrology, but I know with birth charts, I know it goes off of your birth date, and they can tell you, okay, this is your life path. And
yes, that's also a part of it. But the dynamic that we use are the cycles that the people go through, and a lot of people don't understand that, and that's what we look at, the cycles, because you're going to go through certain things in your life at certain times. And I think when you understand that, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy to go through it, but I think knowing that this is coming, it softens the blow a little bit, because it's okay, I see why I might be going through this, and what is the lesson that I'm supposed to learn going through this, because that's what life is. It's one big lesson. And so when you go through these cycles, you're going through it to learn something. And if you focus so much on the issue that you let it beat you down and become like heavy on your heart, you may not even get the lesson you're supposed to learn, and then you go through it again and you're not getting it. Yeah.
So I'm gonna get ready to close this out. It's called Energy. What was the history behind that name, Energy with the 3 eyes?
Energy, the eyes represent us as a whole, because our clients are a part of our company, essentially. Because if we don't have the clients to come in and get their mediation session, we don't have a business. So one eye represents I as in you, one eye represents me, and then one eye represents your disputant. You're not my disputant. I'm pointing at you, but you're not my
Right.
disputant. But you know what I'm saying. So just to give a scenario of it. And also, I have 3 nephews that are coming up behind me, and their names all start with the I. So I have included that. And so I added a 3rd eye, because we have 3 nephews. And I was like, okay, what does all of this mean? These eyes. So it was we were real passionate about that and naming the company. And Alliance is exactly what it is. And our tag is, let's build an alliance with energy. That's the tag, because we're building this alliance with growth, and we're bringing our energy. And just like you're bringing your energy to the table.
Awesome said. Now, where do you see Energy growing?
I see energy growing where we're working with nonprofits in the local area and afar. We already have a nonprofit attached. I'll let Kevin explain a little bit more about 52 AOD and our outreach for the children. But I see energy going in that direction, to where we have somewhere to put the money at and give back to the community. And we already have a strategic approach to doing that with 52 AOD and the math program, tutoring program in the Atlanta area.
Yes, definitely. We want to be more active in the community. We do have a nonprofit. It's 52 AOD. Stands for Art of Defense. Started by me and my business partner, Light Burley, who's well known on YouTube for the 52 block martial arts system. And so we teach that to the youth, trying to, especially our young men, trying to encourage them to put the guns down. And we also teach conflict resolution. So we try to get the young men to try to learn to resolve their issues before it gets violent. But if it turns violent, you do know how to protect and defend yourself. And we have an after-school program where we teach math called MMA Fight Club. Teach math MMA stands for math and martial arts. That's the term that we came up with. And basically, we help them with their math homework, teach them math, and then in critical thinking, we also teach them conflict resolution, and obviously, we teach them the 52 block martial arts.
Definitely. Yes, and I personally, mostly they're dealing with men, young boys. My position on the board for 52 AOD is secretary. So I'm just behind the scenes, talking to the moms, things of that nature, and dads. I'm working with moms and fathers. Okay, it's not if that's the case, because the fathers are here. Okay, let's not make it seem like the fathers are absent in our community, because they're here. Okay, so I just want to just clarify that. And Energy has also given to Girl I Got You. It's a nonprofit in Virginia, based in Virginia, where we gave to them. I have a video I could send you. We gave to a single mother, and she needed groceries. So we have ways of giving back and working with nonprofits. I love working with nonprofits. I sit on the board of 52 AOD as secretary, but I also work with other nonprofits as well. I'm also working now with Dr. Allen. She is working to build a hospital in Africa. So she's working on just open that to crowdfund that in her mother's village in Liberia. So that's going to be real exciting down the line.
And also, if you don't know what 52 AOD is or 52 block is, you're going to find out real soon, because Jonathan Majors has a new movie coming out, and he's actually going to be doing 52. And the fight scene and his training was done by my business partner, Light Burley.
Yes.
They should be filming pretty soon on that. They've been training out in California for a while. And you can find some clips online of him doing it, and actually with my partner, Light Burley, as well.
And that's exciting. Yeah. And it's the only Black American martial art form.
Yes.
To be honest, it's the only Black American. I know we say African American, that's the term that everyone knows, but it's the only Black American art form. Yeah. So that's really exciting to have a movie that's actually focusing on that art, on our art form.
Yep. And Ludacris also practices it.
I didn't know Ludacris practices 52.
A lot of videos of him online doing it.
Oh, so he can do some blocking?
He's really good with
really?
it. Yeah, he's nice.
Okay, I did not know that.
So shout out to Ludacris, and Lorenz Tate does 52. And he did it in one of his movies. I can't remember the name. It was an elevator scene, and he was using 52.
Okay.
Yep.
I think I seen Michael Jai White do something familiar that looked very familiar to me. Like opening the door. Oh, Kevin, you should show him. Get low for him, Kevin. Show him real quick. Go to do it.
We gotta go do that right now. We'll do that later.
He gonna do it. Okay, he gonna do it for y'all. Then people gonna want to see it now that I said that. You could just do a little elbow.
52 AOD on YouTube. And I have my YouTube channel for my nonprofit. You can see doing it.
And you got Jaden on there doing it too?
Yeah, my son Jaden I've been teaching him since he's about 5. He's 13 now. And you can see some of his videos. Yep. He's really good.
So that's awesome. So where can people, if they're interested in reaching out to you or contacting you about a consultation, where can they find you?
We're going to drop that link.
Okay.
Yep, we're going to drop that link. But it's going to energy.com is the website, is our website.
And that's ENERGIII, 3 eyes.com.
Energy.com.
Is there anything else y'all wanted to add that people should know before we get out of here?
Let's build an alliance with Energy. That's it. That's all I want you to know.
That's it.
That's it. It's been a pleasure having you guys on
Thank
here. I know
you.
it's going to be helpful to a lot of folks, especially men and both women, but particularly having an alternate resolution or an alternate way of resolving conflict or issues that they may have. And communication is obviously a big thing. So I appreciate you guys showing up and expounding and informing the audience and everybody out there who may be interested in those different services. So with that being
Thank you for the opportunity.
For sure. I appreciate you, Angel and Kevin. And,
thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
We're out of here. Peace.
Peace.